Hello everyone, and welcome to your Advective weather update for the United States on this fine March 11th. Let's jump right into it. Blizzard warnings currently in place for much of North Dakota, heading into Montana at this time. Parts of Minnesota also within those blizzard warnings. We have winter storm warnings outside of that and winter weather advisories surrounding that, all associated with the system that is currently moving through, the center of which is in North Dakota heading into Canada, but influences from the system are stretching all the way from there down south to parts of Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, Mississippi, and we're going to be seeing even more activity there in Arkansas and Oklahoma here shortly. We'll be talking about that soon. You'll also notice in California winter storm warnings and flood watches in place as more moisture continues to move in to what has already been a well-flooded California. A high risk of excessive rainfall was in place yesterday and the day before, so they had some pretty serious impacts courtesy of that, unfortunately, and it looks like more rain is on the way for them. We'll be talking about that soon. Let's jump into the overview here. You can see there that system in Nevada causing problems in California there, with that red hatched region being where we do still have a slight risk of excessive rainfall. You'll notice there that critical risk of fire weather in Texas and New Mexico, that is that black hatched region, with the yellow and red hatched regions there being severe weather and flood threats respectively in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and so on, with heavy snowfall being a real threat in North Dakota heading into Minnesota, hence the blizzard warning, strong winds there as well as a cold air mass rushes in behind. Tomorrow, we see that system advance that's in North Dakota, and you'll notice mixed precipitation possible all the way from parts of Virginia, stretching all the way up into Canada, with severe thunderstorms possible on the southern end of that, including places there south of Atlanta, Pensacola, Florida within that, Mobile, Alabama within that, just south of Jackson, Mississippi. So numerous areas within a severe weather threat, and the flooding threat remains there for California with the potential for some heavy snow as well. And then as we head into 3 days out, you'll notice another system moving in there all the way in Canada, causing heavy snowfall, stretching all the way from Canada all the way into California with some flooding threats there as well. And then in the Northeast, some heavy snow, things of that nature also occurring, as it looks like the Northeast could finally get a good dumping of snow this year after waiting all winter long. All right, let's talk about the Midwest winter storm first. A winter storm will continue to generate periods of heavy snow across portions of the northern plain and upper Midwest this weekend, with heavy snow combined with strong gusty winds producing blizzard conditions across portions of northeast Montana, North Dakota, and northwest Minnesota as well. Snowfall totals greater than 6 feet are forecast from northern Montana to Michigan and northern Wisconsin. I meant 6 inches there, and totals greater than 1 foot are possible in North Dakota and Minnesota Arrowhead. So again, that's 6 inches with totals greater than 12 inches possible northeast of North Dakota in the Minnesota Arrowhead. Snow-covered roads and reduced visibility will make travel very difficult to cross impacted areas as well. Now, you'll notice that winter storm severity index graphic there on your screen on the lower portion of this graphic. That is not accurate. This is the real one now. This is what's currently in place, and you'll notice there those extreme conditions stretching all the way from North Dakota well in to Minnesota. Now, this is not for snowfall, this is for wind, and this is because it's going to make travel nearly impossible in those extreme areas. Strong winds coupled with that snowfall is going to make visibility virtually zero, so it's going to be extremely difficult to drive. There are also going to be very tall snow drifts as well. So those extreme impacts need to be taken seriously. If you're within the extreme zone, do not travel under any circumstances unless it is an emergency. You'll notice the Twin Cities there and those minor impacts, and as we head towards places like Madison, Wisconsin, we start moving into the more limited side of things. Let's talk about why those extreme impacts are in place. You'll notice those wind speeds there, maximum wind gusts exceeding 40 miles per hour in some spots where that snow is. You'll notice there's 60 miles per hour on the back end being a real possibility. But as a result of that, those extreme impacts are expected, as again, snow is going to be blown up and it's going to make travel nearly impossible. Let's talk about the Northeast now. You'll notice there that winter storm severity index getting up to major in some spots. That is where snowfall is expected to drive that. So the Northeast, you're primarily going to have a snowfall threat, while in the Midwest, you're going to have primarily a wind threat from this winter weather system. So travel is going to be very difficult, with significant disruptions to daily life being a possibility if you're in the moderate or above. If you're in the minor or limited impacts, expect some winter weather and expect it to be possibly disruptive, but it shouldn't be a major disruption. All right, let's talk about snow totals now. This is over the next 2 days or so. So this ends on March 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And you'll notice there we have quite a bit of snow, that swath of 6 inches or higher falling all the way from northeastern North Dakota, stretching all the way to the northern chunk of Wisconsin, heading into Michigan, with over a foot possible along the coastline there of Montana, where that Great Lake is. And then as we head into the northeast there, not even 6 inches have really fallen there just yet by this time scale. But that's why we're going to look even farther with the national blend of models. So the agreement there is very similar for the Midwest. Still, that 6-inch swath of snow stretching all the way from northeastern North Dakota into Wisconsin and Michigan. But you'll notice snow totals significantly higher because this goes all the way to the 15th, which is important. So this is over the next 4 days or so, 3 to 4 days, and you'll notice there in the Northeast over a foot of snow possible in many parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, even chunks of Rhode Island and Connecticut could get in on some of that over a foot snow totals, but widespread swaths of at least 6 inches likely, with mountainous peaks there in New York especially expected to get over 2 feet of snow possibly. So, real possibility there for some significant snowfall. We'll keep you posted as time goes on, but that snowfall in the New York region is going to occur later on. Let's take a look at this now in more detail. You'll notice there that winter storm and that blizzard moving through the Midwest right now with that possibility of stronger storms to the south. We'll talk about that soon. But as you'll notice there, the snow moving through relatively light as this low pressure system becomes less defined. You'll notice, though, it starts to shoot north and starts to deepen rapidly. So we have a rapidly strengthening low pressure system moving into the northeast. This is going to result in quite heavy snowfall occurring, and that is why we're confident in high snow totals over a foot in relatively widespread fashion there. You'll also notice the atmospheric river in California. We'll talk more about that relatively soon as well. And then you'll notice our low pressure system moving out of the way after dumping quite a bit of snow there in the northeastern U.S. Let's talk about the severe weather threat associated with this same system. So we have a level 2 out of 5 slight risk in place both today and tomorrow, with the primary hazards being isolated damaging wind gusts, isolated tornadoes, and a few severe hail reports in excess of 2 inches being a possibility. So some very large hail there. Let's talk about this now in a bit more detail. You'll notice today major cities within the severe risk, the level 2 out of 5, mostly just Little Rock, although Tupelo awfully close, but a level 1 out of 5 for Tupelo, Memphis, Tulsa, and Dallas, with Shreveport just on the border of that. So if you're in any of the areas I just mentioned, you need to be watching as severe weather is possible today. Primary threat is going to be large hails, possibly very large hail. That black hatched region is where very large hail is possible. That's 2 inches in diameter or higher. If you're in the yellow region, that means you have a level 2 out of 5 risk of getting hail at all. And if you are in the brown region, you're in a level 1 out of 5 risk for getting hail. So nothing to sneeze at here. It's nothing out of the ordinary for this time of year. That level 2 out of 5 is pretty standard. That's the standard risk for severe weather. But still, you need to be remaining weather aware, as that severe weather can cause significant damage. Now, the wind threat is there as well, although that level 2 out of 5 stretches south of Little Rock into northern Mississippi. And that's going to be because this line of storm starts as supercells and then becomes more of an arc as we move into the level 2 out of 5 region. But there in around Tulsa, stretching all the way down to Dallas across the Red River there, we're going to start by seeing more individualized storms, although that strong wind threat is non-zero. Again, the brown area, level 1 out of 5, the yellow area, level 2 out of 5, with those wind gusts of 60 miles per hour or greater being what those denote the possibility of. And finally, we have the possibility of tornadoes today, non-zero, level 1 out of 5, and you'll notice there it includes places like Dallas, south of Tulsa, east of Oklahoma City, and then again south of Little Rock, just outside of Shreveport. There it is, that level 1 out of 5 tornado threat. So isolated tornadoes, pretty weak. That's the expectation. They're going to be short-lived as well, but a couple of tornadoes can't be ruled out today. Be sure to keep an eye on that. There's also a significant threat for some flash flooding there. Marginal risk in the green, that's level 1 out of 4. Slight risk in the yellow, level 2 out of 4. Places like Little Rock, Memphis, Huntsville, all within that level 2 out of 4, and then places like Fayetteville, Hope, Greenville, Birmingham within the level 1 out of 4. as we see that flash flooding threat being a real possibility. There's going to be a lot more where that came from when we talk about the Californian stuff, but for now, let's move on to the critical fire risk that's also possible today associated with the same system. We'll talk about weather models, things like that, and tomorrow's severe risk here shortly, but I did want to mention that there is a critical fire risk today associated with the system due to strong winds, including places like Roswell and Carlsbad in New Mexico, and places like Lubbock and Midland near that risk in Texas, and then that elevated risk of fire weather, including major areas there. Again, Lubbock, San Angelo, Fort Stockton, Childress, Amarillo, all within that elevated risk. That's a level 1 out of 3. And then, again, if you're in San Angelo, you're just outside of that. All right, let's take a look now at the weather models. This is the high-resolution rapid refresh. This is as of 6 p.m. Central until 6 a.m. Central. And you'll notice there that individual few storms that fires in Oklahoma, and then that stretches into a line of storms. So here we are. You'll watch it again. Those storms in southern Oklahoma, those are the big hailers. And then as it becomes a line, we'll get more of a strong wind threat with this as time goes on. This again from 6 p.m. tonight to 6 a.m. tomorrow. Let's talk about the severe threat tomorrow now. So places like Jackson, Mobile, and Montgomery within that level 2 out of 5. That's rather widespread. Would not be shocked to see a level 3 out of 5 upgrade somewhere within that region. Level 1 out of 5, including New Orleans, Birmingham, Huntsville, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Charleston. Now again, that level 2 out of 5, it's pretty run-of-the-mill for springtime. That's when you really need to start raising some eyebrows and make sure that you're weather aware as time goes on. So primarily, again, the hail threat is the biggest one tomorrow. So we're going to have some thunderstorms there, especially within that black hatched region capable of producing hail 2 inches or larger in diameter. That level 2 out of 5 is in the yellow region, the level 1 out of 5 in the brown region. The wind threat is a bit more high tomorrow than it is today. And you'll notice there, again, same areas as the hail threat, generally speaking, within that level 2 out of 5 wind threat. However, a significant wind threat is not really anticipated, so wind gusts up and over 60 miles per hour are possible, but hurricane force wind gusts and higher not anticipated tomorrow. However, we still do have that level 2 and level 1 out of 5, so you still do need to be keeping an eye on the possibility of some wind damage from these thunderstorms. Finally, there's a tornado threat, and that level 2 out of 5 includes Mobile, Montgomery, so the tornado threat tomorrow is higher than it is today. We could see a few tornadoes, although, again, the possibility of strong tornadoes relatively low. Places like Birmingham, Atlanta, Charleston, Jacksonville in that level 1 out of 5 for the possibility of tornadoes. Let's track this out for you. So this is starting at 6 a.m., moving all the way to 6 a.m. the following day. So this is 6 a.m. Sunday to 6 a.m. Monday. And you'll notice there some stronger thunderstorms moving through. This is 6 p.m. on Sunday as some thunderstorms train through Florida. And as we head into the overnight hours, you'll notice the primary severe weather threat is in Florida. But before that, again, as we watch this loop go through again, you'll notice there the storms start in southern Mississippi heading into Alabama. That line of storms begins to re-strengthen, and some more individual storms also fire off. Those are going to be the big hailers. Then we're going to have that wind and tornado threat as the storms progress on through. We'll be keeping an eye on things, and we'll go live if necessary tomorrow. We'll certainly have a video update on the situation. All right, now let's talk about the Californian stuff. We've talked about the stuff associated with the system moving through the Midwest, heading into the Northeast. Now let's talk about the system moving into California. So this is going to be another major winter storm, bringing flash flooding and heavy snow to the region. This is going to be Monday through Wednesday. So occasional precipitation is expected this weekend into Monday, but things are going to pick up Monday into Wednesday with considerable flooding impacts likely, especially in elevations below 5,000 feet along the central Californian coast, San Joaquin Valley, Sacramento Valley, and southern Sierra Nevada foothills. Heavier rain, snow, and snowmelt are also likely, so we're going to have melting snow, heavy rain, and heavy snow all contributing to the flooding threat here that's going to be occurring, and we'll go over that flood threat in more detail here very shortly. And then finally, heavy wet snow at higher elevations is going to be in the feet in terms of how much snow we could see there. And again, we're going to be seeing some spots getting over 3 feet of snow possibly heading into Wednesday. Which is quite crazy, given just how much moisture has moved into California already. Let's talk about the flooding threat here in a bit more detail. Slight and moderate risks of flash flooding are already in place in regards to this next atmospheric river event. So you'll notice today that slight risk, tomorrow slight risk, with moderate risks on Monday and Tuesday. We'll get into more detail on that right now. So, before we do that, let's talk about what's going on today. There is a non-zero threat of severe weather, which includes Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, and Fresno in California. That is for strong winds, large hail, and tornadoes. All of it would be short-lived and brief, not particularly damaging, but that level 1 out of 5 threat is there. I thought I should mention it. Let's talk about now the flooding threats there. Level 2 out of 4 in place today, stretching all the way from near Chico, stretching all the way down through the Sierra Nevadas in central California, places like San Francisco and Monterey within that level 1 out of 4, in Carson City there in Nevada, also within that level 1. As we head into Sunday, you'll notice there that level 2 out of 4, including places like Chico, and again, heading into northern California, that's where our highest flooding threat is. Then 3 days out on Monday, a moderate risk, level 3 out of 4, already in place for flash flooding, and most of that is on the northwestern coast of California, as well as near Chico there. That's where that moderate risk is as well, along the Sierra Nevadas. And then 4 days out, a moderate risk also in place, even more widespread than the 3-day out one. And I think there's a real possibility that these get upgraded to level 4 out of 4s as we head towards the day of. And if you saw my last video, you know those high risks are the real deal. We'll keep you posted right here with what's going on as time progresses. Let's take a look at just how much rain is expected to fall. Over a foot being a possibility according to the Weather Prediction Center, this ending on Thursday at 5 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So as of 5 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Thursday, the expectation is that over a foot of rain will have fallen in some spots. That's cumulative precipitation, so that could be snow melting, that could be a variety of things, but in water equivalent, over a foot of precipitation is a possibility over numerous areas, especially there, again, along the Sierra Nevadas in California. Let's talk about the winter weather side of things now. You'll notice those extreme winter storm severity indices here. This is only 3 days out, though, so this only lasts until the 14th. So this is heading into Monday. This doesn't include Tuesday and Wednesday, which could also be rather serious in terms of the winter weather threat. Let's talk about the official forecast over the next 2 days. So again, this ends on Monday at 11 a.m. So this is going to be for the next 2 days. This is what the Weather Service officially forecasts out to, and you'll notice multiple feet of snow expected in the Sierra Nevadas. And then as we take a look now at a second opinion from the National Blend of Models, this heading into Thursday, you'll notice there well over 3, 4, 5 feet being a possibility in the Sierra Nevadas as we head through, and other parts of the Rockies there, as we head over there, could get over a foot of snow from this system as well. So serious stuff with that. Let's take a look at a weather model here showing this atmospheric river moving in. As we head into the morning hours of Sunday, you'll notice there we start to see the stream of moisture coming in. And as we head into the evening and overnight hours of Sunday, we still see some moisture there, although it's not overly intense. As we head into the morning hours of Monday, you'll start to see that more intense moisture, especially in Northern California, moving in with some heavy snowfall. And as we head into the overnight hours, heading into Tuesday especially, you'll notice there California just getting absolutely soaked. And then as we head into the evening and overnight hours, that's where the biggest impacts to California are expected before things begin to calm down on Wednesday. And then heading into Thursday, we really begin to see things die down from what we've been seeing, and hopefully that will be the end of the atmospheric river situation for California. All right, well, here's what you can do if you're caught in any of these situations that we've just described. If you're in a winter storm, first things first, you need to find shelter. Covering exposed body parts, melting snow for drinking water, and exercising, keeping yourself moving, all of that's going to keep your body temperature warm while you're getting to that shelter. You don't want to eat snow, as that can lower your body temperature. You want to cover yourself up, as that will help you avoid hypothermia and frostbite. And you want to keep yourself moving, as that's going to also keep you warmer. If you must travel, especially if within the major or extreme winter storm severity indices I showed, make sure to take it slow, but only do so in cases of emergencies. Clean off your vehicle before driving. This is going to be good for both you and those around you so you can see better and you don't have flying snow hitting other vehicles. You want to keep it slow and not use cruise control, as you don't know if you're going to hit a slick spot. You want to make sure you have more control over your car in treacherous conditions. And finally, leave extra distance between you and other vehicles in case you do have to stop suddenly or you do lose control of your vehicle, so that way other vehicles don't get impacted. All right, if you are within a thunderstorm situation here today or tomorrow specifically, make sure that you know what to do. Clear skies can quickly turn dark and ominous, whether due to pop-up storms or squall lines. So you want to set up multiple ways to get weather alerts. A weather radio is a good idea. Alerts on your phone, also a good idea. When alerted to a storm, you want to get inside a sturdy building immediately. You want to stay away from windows, and if a building isn't nearby, get inside a vehicle. This is not the case if in a tornado warning. If you're in a tornado warning, you don't want to get in a vehicle. You need to find a sturdy shelter. Vehicles, mobile homes, or death traps. But if within a severe thunderstorm, vehicles are a pretty safe place to go. So here's the difference between thunderstorm, tornado, whatever it is, watches and warnings. If you're in a watch, that means that the hazard is possible, in this case, severe thunderstorms. If you are within a warning, that means that the hazard is happening or is about to happen. It's imminent. You need to take shelter. So you want to start preparing if within a watch. You need to act on your plan if you are within a warning. Finally, here are 3 simple steps for flash flood safety. I find these rather important. If you are within a flash flood warning or a flash flood emergency, as the nomenclature was in some parts of California over the past few days, here's what you do. You need to get to higher ground. You don't want to drive into water. You don't want to try to escape. That's dangerous, especially if those roads are flooded, and you want to make sure you have ways to remain informed. What you can do before is you can go to ready.gov/make-a-plan in order to get more information on how to plan for flash flooding emergencies, severe weather emergencies, or winter weather emergencies. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was useful. There was a lot to talk about today in terms of severe weather, fire weather, flash flooding, and winter weather, and we hope that this was informative to you. You can join us on our Discord server, or you can leave a comment on this video if you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, and we'll do our best to get back to you as quickly as we can. If you enjoyed this content, you can like the video, and you can subscribe to this channel as well for more videos just like this one. We'll see you tomorrow when we release our next video. Hope to see you there.